Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are overswinging and you feel like you have to start your downswing with your arms first, you might just be missing a really key piece of timing in your golf swing. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to shorten your backswing by telling you when to start your downswing, and more importantly, how to start it. When people do this, they often hit it just as far by swinging way shorter and actually give themselves the potential to hit it even further from a more loaded backswing. If you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a like. There's going to be weekly videos coming now to make sure you play your best golf for next year. So let's show you what we're going to change. So I know it might seem strange to think that you can swing it shorter but hit the ball further. But the truth is, that's all about creating load into the backswing. So many people swing back and don't really create enough tension during the backswing, so they could swing up to the top way too far and actually talk quite comfortably at the top of their backswing. But the problem is then, as you're swinging back and you're going way too far with your hand path, it causes a tricky kind of sequence on the way down. So you might start to throw your arms first. So you might feel as if you go up to the top, there's a really big turn, but then it's your arms and body both swinging down at the same time, which isn't exactly what we want. Ideally, we'd love to be at the top of the backswing where we feel as if our body is creating some stretch. Okay, we want to try and load up our legs, our feet, and more importantly, our core, because that's really the engine. Okay, I said in my last video that was about tempo, the arms are not necessarily given the purpose of creating the energy, but they're essentially, in my mind, they select what gear I need to be in. Okay, so if my arms are kind of given the job of creating speed, I'll usually look like this. Okay, where there's a lot of arm speed, but not really a whole ton of body power or body speed. Versus, I could make a swing where I feel as if my legs are working way more, and actually my arms can feel softer. Okay, so struck a hell of a lot better and feeling way more stable through the ball. And this load, this kind of stretch or tension, if you like, comes from knowing when to start your downswing. And for a lot of people, it's way earlier than you think. Now, there are two sides of this. In that last video, I was talking about tempo, and people who feel too quick in transition often become underturners and undershifters. So they're not really creating a lot of energy from other kind of sources outside of their arms. Now, let's say you overswing. It's amazing the correlation I see with people who come in with a long swing who aren't using their body in the best way. They're not using their body in the best order. So naturally, you want to overload your arm swing because you're just trying to hit the ball kind of as long as you possibly can, rather than make the body move in the right order and let that create all the kind of subtle speed, if you like. And then basically you can learn to swing the club shorter with your arms. So that load comes from what we call counter-rotating or counter-shifting, moving into your downswing as the club is still moving into the backswing. It's what creates this kind of like Nike swoosh, the wide arc on the way back and the narrow arc during the downswing, because the grip has to change direction. It has to start swinging down as the head is still swinging up. And that creates load in the shaft, and that will usually get rid, if we can keep our hands nice and soft, of the early cast, because we're getting the energy started with our body first and then into the head last. So where should we start the downswing? For me, I would usually like to see people start their downswing from around the left arm parallel mark during the backswing. As we get there, we already want to be shifting onto that lead side and already starting to lower the handle to create that load in the club head. So as the handle's still swinging back, our body is shifting left. As the handle is starting to move down, the club is still moving up. So it's like these sequence of movements, these kind of this order of moving parts, which if it's moving in the correct 1, 2, 3, 4, you are going to be hitting it so much further without actually having to feel like you have to put in way more effort. The analogy I always give, it's a bit like throwing a ball, but you know, we've got scar tissue of bunkers, of scorecards, of mates watching, so it's difficult to really move in a clean order, but it does really help. Okay, we can create smooth power if we just start to move in the right order. So I always say to people, this is a lot like throwing a ball. Okay, it's a lot like throwing a ball, not necessarily, skimming a stone. I don't always love that, but certainly throwing a ball, as your arm is moving back, you'd already be shifting forward. So that's that counter movement, the shift forward and the arm moving back. Create that lag, okay? Create that separation between our body and our arm movement. I just wanted to take a quick second in this video to tell you about my new channel sponsor, Swing Coach. Swing Coach is the app that will start to bring together your feels and reels and accelerate your rate of learning. I've been working on this with clients and in my own game, and changes that would usually take months are suddenly only taking days. The main highlight of the app is that it gives you audible feedback as to where you are in your swing. So you select a parameter, it can be swing plane, takeaway, hand path, hip depth, to name a few, and it will rate you from a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you're very close to average, and 10 being you're too far away from average. Once you've made a few swings, you will see my icon appear in the top corner of your screen, and it will suggest a drill that I filmed in the studio here to help you with that particular problem. So all you need to do is click on the link in the description below, or scan the barcode in this bottom corner here, and it will give you a 2-week free trial to the app. There is no reason not to try it. I think you'll absolutely love it. And as always, let me know how you get on. Now, word of warning, you can separate too much. Okay, so the arms have a job to do. It's not that we want them to become totally kind of switched off and not doing anything, but actually it's just delayed in their application. And this can come in the form of what feels like a slight pull on the handle. You can imagine, to get the head to release later, I need to make sure my handle is moving quicker than my club head for a bit longer. Okay, so all we're going to do is basically grip it in one hand to start off with, make a backswing, you get to the halfway mark, and then just try shifting onto your lead side. And what you'll feel is this change in direction feels like a pull. The handle is changing direction. If you're a caster, it's absolutely not a bad thing to try and feel a little bit of pull on the handle. But it's shift first, it's rotate first, then it's pull on the handle. Yeah, and that's what makes the club almost feel quite heavy in transition. So you can imagine, if we're gripping it too tight, feeling that club load will be really, really difficult, because we're gripping it too tight, we're probably not allowing the kind of freedom of movement and fluidity to have its effect on the shaft itself. So if you just try and hit 1 or 2 with a really, really light grip. Now the grip pressure just changed in a golf swing. This thing's moving pretty quick as we're swinging, so we're going to grip onto it quite tight, but this is obviously, like anything in golf and in life, you can overdo a good thing for sure. So just try a couple with a lighter grip and just see if you can get the shifting. Okay, just see if you can gradually start to move onto your lead side. That felt amazing. Move onto your lead side as the head of the golf club is still moving up. Okay, same again. So these will feel just totally different, but as if you can move the low point later, you can hit more down, but we're not trying to throw the club into the turf. We're just trying to move in good sequence. Okay, and as I show that from the face on, you'll really see that club load and unload, and at no point am I thinking about hinging and throwing. Okay, you can think about pressure on the grip. It's the same in my takeaway video. It's always about pressure on the handle. I'm so uninterested in what this does, in a way. Like, I'm not really, in my golf swing, ever thinking about the sweet spot. And I'm not really, to a degree, thinking about the face. If the grip and wrist angle is good, that's another day. But basically, I'm more interested in how the grip moves and how the grip feels, because I know if I can apply the correct force on the grip, I'll get the correct output through the head. So when I show people this drill for the first time, I always tell them it kind of backs up my idea and my reasoning as to why I don't necessarily believe that holding on to your angles on the way down really changes much if you're not actually changing the order of movements on the way down, because this is rope. I'm really relying on the weight of the ball to keep the rope tight. Now, as I said, you can do this drill from home. I appreciate not many people will have a 2 kilogram ball on the end of a piece of rope, so what you can use is an empty bottle of water with a little bit of water, filling probably about 1/4 of it. because you can still feel the weight in the water. Now, my wife, when she takes me shopping and I get inevitably bored, she always gets so annoyed when I hold a shopping bag. This is how sad I am. I'll hold a shopping bag and I'll stand there, she's looking at stuff, and I'll just stand there and swing the shopping bag backwards and forwards. And she drives her mad. But basically, I'm feeling the weight of the ball. I'm feeling the weight of the club head. Now, when you try this, and again, you can do it with a bottle of water, or even, I've got a short game bag here. It's got some balls in the bottom of that. You know, this would do exactly the same thing, okay? And when you see this, you'll realize that actually holding onto the angles is really not going to do much, but I can grip it in one hand and I can get rope, okay? Can't hold onto the angle of rope, but what I can do is shift, shift, pull. Shift, shift, pull. When people do this for the first time, they're trying to control their wrist angles. But I'll show you a slow-mo of this, where actually the weight of the ball, the weight of the club, loads the wrists up. Okay? You can imagine that when I'm doing this, the shift onto my front foot is happening as the ball is still swinging back. And that shift means I can start to pull my hands across and deliver shuffling. And it's the timing of this. This in a golf swing is going to happen halfway back, and this is how you're going to get rid of that real overturn when you realize that if I'm going halfway back and I'm delivering that almost pulling sensation, if I'm shifting early enough, the swing will naturally get shorter as a result. And it'll feel like you're just using your body way more and therefore getting way more output. So let's try and feel a couple, okay? I'm allowing my shift, Chapman's just logged off, I'm allowing my shift to happen earlier. So as my arms get here, I'm already moving onto my front foot. Okay, that's creating the lag. That's going to stop my arms from going all the way up to the top and feeling all long and loose. So we should be able to hit a couple now where we work on that particular sensation. Felt pretty good, maybe a little bit heavy potentially, a bit deep on the ground, but that felt like a 100-yard shot and it went 130. Let's give that another try. That was probably as good as I can hit a golf ball. A little bit left, but 153. And that didn't feel like a 153 shot. Like I said in my last video, 8 iron for me is 158, 162, that kind of area. So that felt as if I was almost hitting like a half, three-quarter swing, but it definitely felt as if I'm starting earlier, okay? Starting earlier creates the speed, the load in the swing, that will stop the hands from going too far back for too long. So if you are on the side of the camp that has an overswing and struggles with structure at the top, try this feel. Start down by shifting and pulling earlier. Use a medicine ball on a piece of string. Use a water bottle with a bit of water in the bottom. Use a shopping bag with shopping in the bottom. Use your chipping bag with some balls in the bottom. And just get the idea of the flow of the energy. Okay? The flow of the energy makes you realize that you don't have to work anywhere near as hard. So there we are, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. That's basically how you're going to shorten your backswing for good. A lot like the tempo video last time, you can't just shorten your backswing. You've got to get energy from somewhere else to make the shorter, more loaded backswing feel as if it can hold its own when you go on the golf course. As always, if you get any questions, just drop it in the comments box below. And if you did enjoy the video, I'd love it if you were subscribed to the channel, give this video a like. As I said, plenty more coming, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.